欢迎大家. Hello and welcome everyone to this Hanyu Chinese podcast. Today, Melin and I are having a good chat about something truly fascinating, which is the diversity of ethnicities or ethnic groups and cultures in China. Because when we think about China, we think about Chinese people. And sometimes, being honest, for Western people, everyone is Chinese, and that's quite racist to say. But even within China, there's so many differences between people, isn't it? Isn't it like that, Madani?
That's right. So did you know that China officially recognizes 56 ethnic groups? We will dive into some of their unique traditions, festivals, and languages. And plus, we will teach you useful grammar today, like how to ask where someone is from in Chinese. So grab a cup of tea and join us.
I love my cup of tea. If you're a fan of The Office, this is my favorite cup of tea. It says I'm there in
Okay. Sorry, I didn't know that.
I even know. It's fine. Yes, it's not very important. But yeah, today we will learn lots of important things. And I think this information is important and interesting because when we travel to China, we normally go to big cities and everything, but we will see that if we go to the countryside, we can know a different side of China, a very interesting one. So let's dive in and start today and enjoy learning as usual. We will start with the grammar point, and we will start with the verb 是. What is this verb 是?
The verb 是 is the most important verb in Chinese. So 是 means to be. It's super useful for introducing yourself or someone else.
So one question in Chinese, because is Chinese like English? Do you conjugate verbs like French or Italian? For example, if I say I am, then you say you are, he is. So this a little bit of conjugation. How do you say that in Chinese?
That's a good question. We don't change the 是 for all the pronouns we use 是. For example, 我是 I am, 你是 you are, 他是 he or she is.
Oh, that's very simple. So you can say Chinese is a simple language, eh? We don't conjugate. We don't make
Yeah.
words. Very good. So we need this verb 是 for the following sentence because today we will learn about nationalities, and when we want to talk about or ask about someone else's nationality, we need this verb 是. How do you ask what nationality are you, Melanie?
We can say 你是哪国人?
你是哪国人? So literally, what does it mean each word? 你是哪国人?
So the key here is the word 哪, the question word or interrogative pronoun 哪, which means which, and like 什么, which we learned in earlier episodes, 什么, what.
Okay. So this is like a question word, an interrogative pronoun. So 你, you, 是, are, you are, 哪, which, 国, country, and 人, person. You are which country person? And 哪 is the question word. So when we reply, we should fill that gap with the answer. Is that right, Melanie?
Yeah, exactly. We can answer, for example, 我是中国人.
Very good. This reminds me of last week. Last week we also learned another question word, which was, let me see, this one. When we learned about 你姓什么?你姓什么?什么 was a question word, and that question was, how, no, you surname what? So what is the surname?
Perfect.
What you surnamed what? And that what needed to be replaced by the answer. In this case, 我姓 Brown. So 你姓什么?我姓 Brown. And in this case, it happens the same. So the question word gets replaced by the answer. Is that right?
Yeah, so good. That's very simple.
So let's see if let's learn about some nationalities that we can use. For example, we can say these ones. How do we say American from someone from the United States? So the country United States is called 美国. Is that 美国? What does
So
it mean
great.
literally 美国? What is the character 美 means?
美 means pretty, beautiful. 国 country, beautiful country.
Oh man, that is great. Imagine that you're from the beautiful country. Chinese people, China really loves America. Like the beautiful
Yeah.
country is United States, America. Amazing. Now the second one we have it's England. How do we say England?
英国
英国. And 英国, does it have a literal meaning as well?
I think it's because 英 it's similar to ing. Ing.
Ah. Well, I have to say that some Americans say instead of America, they say America. So it also sounds a little bit, American.
I agree.
America. So Ingo, it sounds like England. And so
Yeah.
Ingo is England. Very good. Then we have maybe the most important here for us, which is China. How do we say China?
中国
Very good. And there is something interesting about the meaning of this, the literal meaning of these characters.
Oh, the meaning of this character, 中 means middle, but 中国is abbreviation of 中华人民共和国, the Republic, People's Republic of China.
Oh, wow. 中华人民. Wow, that's a long name. I prefer 中国. This is way easier. But yeah, so it would be the country of the middle, which for us, Western sounds a bit cocky. But we do the same because in Europe, we have this sea called the Mediterranean Sea. That literally means the sea that is in the middle of the earth.
Cool.
Middle, Mediterranean, Earth. So it's a Middle Earth Sea. So we do the same, We always think that our country is in the middle of the world, in the center of it. And then we have South Korea. How do we say that?
韩国
Hangguo. Does it have a literal meaning as well?
Sorry, I don't know that.
I don't know either. If you're listening to this and please let us know in the comments because maybe Hangguo has like a literal meaning with Han. I don't know. Or maybe it's the ethnic group Han. I don't know. What we know is that the language that they speak is Hanyu, and it's very similar sounding to Hanyu, which is Chinese. So if sometimes you say I speak Chinese, 我说汉语, but they don't understand you. Maybe it's because you're saying the tone wrong, and you're saying 我说韩语, which is I speak Korean.
Exactly.
Be careful. Yes, that is very confusing. Korean and Chinese sounds pretty much the same. Okay,
Yeah.
we've seen that these countries end with the character 国, which literally means country. And sometimes they have a literal meaning and sometimes they don't. But this is not what always happens. Most of the time, the countries don't have 国 at the end and they don't have a literal meaning. For example, we have these ones. How do you say Canada, Melanie? Oh,
加拿大
okay. 加拿大 is Canada. What about the other ones?
澳大利亚苏格兰爱尔兰 they're all from the pronunciations.
Oh, wow. So, 澳大利亚, that would be Australia. It sounds similar. 澳大利亚, Australia. But then Scotland also sounds similar. Not too much, but yeah, sort of. And then Ireland, that sounds pretty much the same as Ireland. So it goes by pronunciation. It is similar, the pronunciation to one to each other. This is not always like that because Japan, I think, it's like an exception. It doesn't have guo, and it's not because of pronunciation. It's more because of the meaning, but it doesn't have guo. Is like that? How do you say Japan?
Exactly.
Japan in Chinese?
It is 日本.
日本. So 日本or these ones, 日本. Sorry, the literal meaning of 日本. What does it mean? 日本.
I'm sorry, I don't know that.
I think I know this one, but whoever is listening to us, they can correct me. I think 日 is because of the sun, and 本 is the origin of the sun. So it's from the place where the sun is rising up from. So it's a rising sun country. So it's the origin of the sun. And it makes sense to Chinese because the sun rises from the east and Japan is at the east of China. So they would just like, they would see the sun coming up from there. And this is interesting because Japan, they call themselves the same way. The
What?
Nihongo, it's the same characters as the Chinese ones. So it's very interesting. They love the Chinese names for themselves. So they call Tokyo means the capital of the East because that was a Chinese name for them. And Japan means the country from the rising sun. And it is a name that Chinese people call them too. So yeah, there you go. They have a very close connection. Now, the interesting thing is when we say I am Chinese, how do you say I am Chinese in Chinese?
我是中国人.
Okay, 我是中国人, which is a perfect response to 你是哪国人?我是中国人. But for these countries that don't have 国, how do we do it, Melanie?
我是日本国人. Sorry, it's wrong. We should say 我是日本人.
Okay, so what happens there, Melanie? Explain to us, please.
So here, for example, for Japanese nationality or Spanish nationality, we cannot say 日本国人 or 西班牙国人. We can only say 我是日本人 or 西班牙人.
Okay, so this guo disappears. In these countries, we don't add a guo if it's not used in the country. Perfect.
Yes.
So when we want to say Canadian is 加拿大人, Australian is 澳大利亚人, Irish, 爱尔兰人, but we don't say 加拿大国人 or 爱尔兰国人. That's not how it goes. Very good. Very, very interesting. Perfect. Now we know how to ask nationalities and answer. So we can say 你是哪国人 to ask for nationality, and then we just reply 我是, in my case, 我是西班牙人. For example, if I ask you, Melanie, 你是哪国人?
我是中国人.
Very good. Now, let's keep going now. We learn all of this, and we want to give a question for the audience because we know that some people are listening to us either live or on Spotify, Apple Music, and we want to give you a question. Okay, we know how to ask what is your nationality, 你是哪国人, but would you know how to say are you Chinese? How do you ask are you Chinese? If you know how to ask are you Chinese, please leave it in the comments if you're listening to us on YouTube or in any platform that allows to leave comments. Are you Chinese? How do we say that? Perfect. Now, for those who are enjoying this podcast, Melanie, what do they need to do not to miss any episode?
So don't forget to like this episode and subscribe to the podcast. And it helps us reach more learners like you and keeps us motivated to create more great content.
Very good. So don't forget, like and subscribe if you like it. If you don't, I don't know. Very good. But if you're enjoying, don't forget to subscribe. Now we will talk about something very interesting, which is the different ethnicities that are in China. And we want to talk about first the most important one, important because of the numbers, which is the Hans. What is this ethnicity, Han?
Wow. So we already know China is the home to 56 ethnic groups. And the largest by far is the Han Chinese. So they make up about 92% of the population. I'm one of them. And which is why Mandarin Chinese, their language or my language, is the official language of the country.
So you my language. So you are Han.
Yes, I'm
You
Han.
are Han. Very good. We have this map here. You have where we got it from. And it's interesting because in all the mostly populated areas of China, the majority, vast majority, they claim to be Han because this is another thing that happens. Chinese people want to be Han in general. Like if you have a little bit of Han, you just Han and you say you're Han, and that's it. They are Han, but they also want to be Han. If you have a little bit of that, it doesn't matter. You're Han. So that's why the 92% they claim to be Han, and they are Han because we are what we want to be at the end of the day. But this is interesting because Han people is the majority. They live in the east, is the most densely populated areas, and we have this word "zu," "hanzu." What does it mean, "zu," Melanie? "Zu."
Zhu means ethnic. Ethnic.
Okay, so "zu" like a tribe, ethnic group. Yes, it's not a race; it's like an ethnic group. "Zu," "hanzu." This is the first one. We have other ones which are very, very interesting, and I wanted to talk about. We have these. How do you read this? What is this?
Oh, so yeah, this is a very interesting group. Is Zhuangzu, the largest minority group. They have their own language and vibrant festivals like the Singing Festival, where people compete with improvised songs.
So they improvise songs. Wow,
Yes.
they they probably the Irish people of the Chinese. They love singing and music. Very good, very good.
They
That
can
sounds
be good
fun. And
friends.
they also have their own language. So can you what's the name of it? Is it Zhangyu?
Yeah, 壮语, 壮语.
Zhangyu. And could you understand Zhangyu or not?
I don't think so. I don't even think so. I have ever heard about it.
You never heard about it, Oman. This is the most important one. So, wow, wow, wow. We're talking about that the minorities comprise the 8% of the population. And even if this one is the biggest one, we need to understand that it's 56. So the minorities are really minorities here in China. We also have this one. This one, I think it's, in my opinion, the most interesting one for Western speaking people, because for us, we don't know many. I don't think that there are many groups, ethnic groups, or cultures in the world that are so matrilineal, which means that it's all in the line of the women. The women rule the household. They pass property down through the female line. It's not through the male line, and they don't marry and have very unique family structures. It's sort of like a feminist feminist ethnic group. Like,
Society.
very, very interesting. If you are around China, you can visit them. It's called Mosuo and we have a picture here of a Mosuo woman. Sorry, I said that in English. Mosuo mixing languages now, but yeah, very interesting. What else we have?
Yes. How? Oh, and we also have the Tibetan people. Yeah, Tibetan people are known for their deeply spiritual culture. reflected in their beautiful temples and festivals, like the Butter Lamp Festival, which is celebrated with colorful sculpture made of butter.
Very good. I'm laughing because I put a picture and I just realized when I was making this that these people here on the picture are not Zhangzuren, they're not Tibetan, they are Thai, and this is so racist. I'm confused. They just go with green. So I saw lights that go with green colors. Sorry, orange. I will. I need to say this, Melanie. I get confused between the words orange and green in all languages: Spanish, English, Chinese. Something happened to me from a young age. When I want to say orange, I sometimes say green and green orange.
Oh,
And now it
wow.
happened while being live. Yes. So I saw people wearing orange costumes and with candles, and I thought, oh, they are Tibetan. They're not. They're Thai. So if you're watching us, that is not a Tibetan person. Yes. But yeah, it's very, very interesting. Zhangzu, very good. So we see that in China, there's lots of efforts made into preserving these traditions because these shows the richness of the Chinese culture. They have had lots of revolutions in the past, and in all countries, I think that there's always the tendency of making all becoming one culture. But it's interesting and very nice, very beautiful that Chinese are trying to preserve the different culture, ethnicities, and groups. So I think that is very beautiful. And for us, travelers, we love it because it's very nice to see the different colors and cultures. Very good. We wanted to talk also about something that if you're learning Chinese, you may have heard, which is the concept of Laowai. What is Laowai? What is the meaning of Laowai?
Okay, so now let's talk about Laowai. Okay, so don't be angry. It's a term you will often hear in China. It literally means old outsider, but it's used to refer to foreigners in general. So it's not something bad.
It's not bad. Yes, it just means foreigner, and it's nice. It's interesting because if in your home country you have Chinese people, they will refer you as the outsider, even if they are in the foreign country. But this is very very fun. So if you see someone saying 那个老外 that 老外 they're referring to you, but in a friendly way. You can also, in a friendly way, say 你是老外,我不是老外, and make fun of it.
我是老内。
我是老内,我不是老外,你是老外. But yes, Chinese people, it doesn't matter if they're in China or overseas in your country, they will call you 老外, and it will always be in a friendly way. So yeah, don't be offended. It's the way to refer to non-Chinese people. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also it's also a great icebreaker.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Very
locals
good.
are often curious.
So now we know. We can also call in a funny way. We can call Chinese people Laowai if you want to make fun of the expression. Yes. Yeah. But if you hear when you're shopping or somewhere and they saying Laowai, they're talking about you. Very good. Now we talked about the question before. The question was, how do you say, "Are you Chinese?" How do you say, "Are you Chinese?" Melanie.
We can say 你是中国人吗?
你是中国人吗? Okay, very good. So we learn 你是哪国人? In 你是哪国人, we didn't use ma. But in this one, we use ma. Why?
So here we put the ma at the end of the sentence and turn it into a yes or no question.
Of course, because there is no question word in the question. In the other one has na国人, so it already implies that it's a question. But with the other one, we need to put ma. So 你是中国人吗? Are you Chinese? Very good. So that has been all for today. Let's do a little bit of recap. What did we learn today, Melanie?
Yeah, so today we have learned how to use 是 to be, ask about nationalities, and name countries. We also discovered China's amazing ethnic diversity, like Zhuang, Tibetan, and Mosuo people, and talked about what it means to be a Laowai in China.
Yes, we are all Laowais. That's what I learned. Like, I am a Laowai, you are Laowai, everyone. Well, maybe not. You never Laowai if you're Chinese in China, actually. Yes, you're not.
I'm Laomei.
Yes, you can be a Laowai, yes. Very good. Next week, we have a very interesting topic, which is social position. And if it matters in China for Chinese people, is it important? In every culture is different how social position works. And some countries are less important because everybody belongs to the same social position, and in others it's more important. And we will talk also about professions, how to talk about professions and how to name them. So don't miss next week's episode. Melanie, we want to remind our listeners, if they're enjoying this podcast but they want to learn Chinese, what do they need to do?
So you're very welcome to visit our website, hanyuchineseschool.com. You can ask for a free trial class, and we're so glad you joined us. And thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed, and see you next time.
Very good. Goodbye, Melanie, and goodbye, everyone. Bye
再
bye.
见。